If you love beach resorts that above all give you endless space on the beach, then the Intercontinental and its 600 meters of coastline might be right up your alley. After a full renovation in 2022, this resort is once again a worthy player in the local market. Today we're going to take a full tour. By the way, every hotel or resort that I review on the channel has always been done so without the hotel's prior knowledge, and the price that I paid is always in the description. Let me welcome any of you that might be new to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm here to give you a self-funded and honest look at some of the best, most unique, or simply most popular airlines and hotels in the world, which I've been bringing to you full-time for going on 5 years. I'd love for you to know more about how I do things on the channel, so simply scan the QR code or check out my hundreds of videos to do so. Let's get into the full tour. If ever there was an award for the most intercontinentally intercontinental ever to exist, I wouldn't be surprised if this place won the award. Different from the likes of JW Marriott, Hilton, Sofitel, or Hyatt Regency, Intercontinental I think has had the steadiest hand when it comes to resort design, layout, and function. Whether or not you love that design language, well, that's up to you. Originally opened in 2009, this resort has 210 rooms and suites, and at least of the resorts that I visited on my trip, is the most centrally located in terms of proximity to Port Louis. Heading inside, you'll be greeted with a massive picture-perfect open-air lobby where you'll be checked in by some very attentive staff. Service in general was not a particular highlight of my trip on the island, but quite a few of the staff and managers at this resort had a distinct warmth and attentiveness, which I think would have served the other properties pretty well. In front of the lobby area is the larger of two pools, the pool bar of course, and that massive beach. While the beach is massive, something that I promised to say only 3 or 6 more times in this video, the pools are surprisingly small. This is the larger of the two on property, just in front of the Senso buffet restaurant. Let's take a look at where we are to make sense of the layout and see why I definitely think they could have fit another, or at least one larger pool. Mauritius is an island nation in the Indian Ocean, to the east of Madagascar. Today we're on the west coast just north of Port Louis, on Balaclava Bay. Here you can see the full property. The large pool is where we just were. I think the missed opportunity is not taking up more space in one of the 3-room crescents. The third crescent to the right is where the second pool is. I think they could have also had another pool in that first crescent, or at least put the second pool there with a ton more space around it. If you've seen many of my videos, something like the adults pool at either the JW Marriott Macau in Phuket or the Sofitel in Fiji would have been really nice to see here. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have all the open space here, but you get what I'm saying. And so the reason why I'm harping on this is, well, this is the second pool in all of its glory. At least, though, there is the beach. When the sun shines, the water is a beautiful clear pale seafoam green, and the number of spots to sit along the 600-meter coastline really do feel like they go on forever. For a resort with 200 rooms, I think they've done really well in this regard. Resort stays like this truly would not be possible without your support on Patreon. So if you appreciate these kinds of unsponsored videos, please consider checking out my page. You can also help out the channel continue to grow by liking this video and subscribing to the channel, or joining my YouTube channel memberships. Whatever you do, thanks for doing it. I'm considering making a change to how I score hotels, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Right now, I score based on the exact price that I paid. But I'm wondering if I should change the score to be based on the average price for the room that I see throughout the year. Two sides to this coin. In defense of how I do things now, I always book publicly available rates. Just about anyone can book the same prices that I do, but I do generally try to book during low or shoulder seasons. A hotel that gets a 90 out of 100 for $200 a night might get a different score if its average rate was $400. The other side of the coin is to give a more well-rounded score, one that takes the average rate over the course of the year into account. It would also be based on the room category that I actually get if there was an upgrade involved. Anyway, I'm just thinking about this now for changes coming in 2026. Let me know what you think in the comments. All of the rooms are located in these 3 or 4-story structures. Despite the resort having gone through its full renovation, there are quite a few reviews online that, to this day, mention the resort feels dated. I don't necessarily share that opinion, but I do see what they mean. The renovations leaned heavily into that classic intercontinental language, and while I do think things feel up to date for the most part, it's not exactly what I would call fresh and modern. Let's go take a look at my room. I have platinum status with IHG and was upgraded to a Sea View King room in that third crescent. The rooms are certainly unique in their layout. Based on the design of the rooms with the sunken bedroom, it would be crucial to request an accessible room on the ground floor if you have any mobility issues. I'll let you have a look around as I put up the extra bits. Very happy to have an espresso machine in the room, but gotta say that minibar in general is not inspiring anyone. Above the bedroom is the desk area and closet. For this reason, I actually loved this layout because when sitting down to get some work done, I actually had a clear view outside instead of, well, looking at myself in the omnipresent mirror above the desk. The bathroom features a double vanity and a very large, soaking tub. Byredo Baldafrique products were on offer. A nice match here considering the fragrance is inspired by Africa. Finally, we have the balcony and the view of the second pool. Let's take a look at a few of the dining venues. First up we have Noble House, which is beachside and serves Asian fusion. On the back of the property, there's Veda, which serves contemporary Indian food. There's also Senso, the massive buffet restaurant, which we'll see for breakfast. And finally, Segala, the Mediterranean restaurant where I had dinner. After poor restaurant booking experiences at the other two properties I visited, I asked to check in hesitantly if reservations were necessary. They said yes, they recommend them, and I asked which restaurants were available, and she said, all of them. Music to my ears. After a cloudy but beautiful sunset, I went to dinner. Service, as it was nearly everywhere in the resort, was very good. The food, however, didn't quite live up to the same standards. For the starter, I had the beef carpaccio. The flavors were okay, but the beef itself was grainy, so grainy that you can actually see it on camera. 5.5 out of 10. For the main, I had the pork milanese. Whether we're talking about plating or the flavors, this very much felt like I was served something from the big kids menu. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't a dish that should be served in this way, at least, at a high-end resort. 4.5 out of 10. The next morning for breakfast, I headed to Senso, which is a big open-air restaurant, but with clever netting all around so that the birds don't take over the breakfast service. There was an okay selection, but to me at least, Intercontinental Resort breakfast buffets are painfully consistent at being very mediocre. This is the 7th Intercontinental to be added to my rankings, and they're all in that perfectly edible but uninspiring 4 to 7 range. With this one coming in at a 4 as well. As we take a look at the small but well-equipped fitness center, let me wrap this up. The Intercontinental Mauritius is a fine choice as long as the food and the pools are not your priority. To many of you, your reaction to that is, well, why on earth would you be settling for something with mediocre food and pools? And I totally get that. But for some, the room layout and the beach would be really appealing. Not to mention, it's one of the few big Western brand premium resorts on the island where you could actually earn or redeem points. For the right price, I'd go back. But this is not a property where I would want an all-inclusive package. So I really do hope that you enjoyed today's tour. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss my weekly hotel and flight videos. I'll see you next time for my first long-haul business class flight on Thai Airways, and my first EC261 claim. That was fun. As always, thanks for watching until the end.